Time for a look at what new films are hitting theaters this weekend. We're joined live by film critic Richard Crouse. It's always a good time to see your face. Thanks for making time.
Oh, nice to see you.
Let's talk about The Lost City. What a cast. Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Brad Pitt.
And Daniel Radcliffe. There's something for everybody here. This is kind of a riff on Romancing the Stone. If you remember that movie, a romance novelist gets kidnapped, has to be rescued by a mercenary. That's the same basic premise here. Sandra Bullock plays an archaeologist and historian who became very famous writing books, romance novels. And when an eccentric billionaire, played by Daniel Radcliffe, decides that in the writing of one of those books is a clue to this ancient treasure, he kidnaps her, which leads her former cover model, played by Channing Tatum, kind of playing a Fabio-esque kind of character, to come try and rescue her. And he brings along Brad Pitt as a mercenary. And, you know, this is a movie that has really likable performers, and there must be at least 200 one-liners or jokes in here. Trouble is, only about a third of them land. So you'll laugh a little bit, but it's not nearly quite as cohesive as it needs to be. It's not funny enough to be an action comedy, and it's not action-packed enough to be a comedy or an action movie with some comedy. So it just kind of sits in the mushy middle, and I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars as a result.
All right. How about Run, Woman, Run? Pitched as a dramedy.
Yeah, that's a mix between drama and comedy. I liked this movie. This is the story of an Indigenous woman who's at a crossroads in her life. She's a single mom. She has let everything in her life go. She even drives to the bottom of her driveway to check the mail. That's how far she has sunk. And then after she has a health scare, she decides to rejuvenate herself and her life by marathon running. And this is a movie that is kind of an underdog story, but it is so nicely told. It's so relatable. Dakota Ray Hebert, who plays the main character, Beck, is natural. She's really wonderful in this movie. It's called Run, Woman, Run. It's in theaters right now, and I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
All right, and finally, we have Learn to Swim, a story about a saxophone player.
Yep, no actual swimming here. It's a metaphor, I think, for learning to keep your head above water and learning to swim along with the tides of life. This is a movie about a saxophone player, as you mentioned, and a singer. They are romantically linked, and it's told on a broken timeline. So it flashes back and forth through time. You will not get lost in the story, though, because the filmmaker has been very clever in terms of the way that he presents. The flashbacks are done in these warm, beautiful tones. The present day, when things aren't going as well, are shot in cold, hard kind of light. So you always know where you are in the story. And like the music that it portrays, jazz music, the story here that we're seeing isn't all that terribly original, but the director and the actors just bend the notes enough so that it becomes something fresh and something that feels new. So I gave Learn to Swim in theaters right now 3.5 out of 5 stars.
All right, 2 3.5 star ratings for this weekend. And isn't it nice to say films in theaters? It's going to be freezing, so it's a good weekend.
Absolutely.
To head to the theater.
Absolutely. I'll be there.
All right. Thanks so much, Richard. Have a great weekend.